But I think as a nation, we fear the black man. He's the demon. So you saw that in Mike Brown when that cop says, oh, he had a demon's look in his eye. A demon's look in his eye? What are you talking about? Do you ever see anybody say that Dylan Roof, oh, he looked like he had a demon look in his eye? They don't say that. They say, oh, this troubled youth. But the black guy's the demon. So we have that in our society, that's the criminal. So that's who we're looking at, and that's who we're fearing. We're fearing the black man raping our daughters. We're fearing that whether we want to face it or not as a nation, it's real, and we have to face it if we want to learn how to police properly, and we actually want to get our nation back to where it is, and we tear down these borders, these things that we do, these social constructs, your flags, your whether we have a line down at Mexico so that they can't come over here and we don't help them, and we have our states, and we do all this so much dumb shit that we just make up to separate ourselves, but there's no difference. He's got more melatonin than I do. Wonderful. Whatever.
They're just human beings.
Yeah, I mean, we're all the same. We know this. Scientifically, we know this.
I agree with you on that, but the guy that shot the people in Colorado, that was one of the first things they said, is that he looked possessed. His eyes were, I absolutely agree with you that there's institutionalized racism. I absolutely agree with you. But I think that anytime someone becomes a school shooter or, they treat that person like they're some psychopathic maniac.
Yeah, I'll concede that.
Did you get into altercations where you had to shoot people?
I could have pulled the trigger justifiably quite a few times.
But you never did?
No. I mean,
so you went 11 years in Baltimore, in the city, and you didn't have to shoot anybody?
No. I can't. I mean, I know of two that were happened pretty close to me that were completely clean shootings. And again, it was an ex-Marine. Maybe I'm being biased. I don't know. But
it makes sense to me. I don't think you're being biased at all. I would want someone, first of all, it's a logical progression. If someone is looking for a good job and they get out of the military, it's a logical progression. I would trust military members more than I would trust a civilian who's never seen any real gunfire or any real shit. Someone who has never experienced any sort of altercation like that and all of a sudden being thrust into it, you just got to hope they can keep it together. So I know some people can, but a lot of people can't. Someone who's been through the Marines, someone who's been through, anything, a Navy SEAL, someone who's been through war, that person, in my eyes, is a much more qualified candidate than the average person. It makes sense. So when you're talking to me and you're saying that you had a certain amount of discipline and you had but you're also being very honest about you wanted them to come at you. Yeah. Which I think is a natural human instinct. I think it's very important that you're talking like this. I really do. Because I think there's a lot of people that would shy away from talking like that, especially someone who still had a career in law enforcement,
I think my hopes for resuming a career in law enforcement are probably over.
Yeah, unless someone comes along and listens to this with an open mind and realizes, no, this fucking guy is exactly what we need. And I think that is exactly what we need. We need people like you. And we need people like you who other people are going to listen to and say, well, here's a guy who's on our side. Here's a guy who's not a racist. Here's a guy who's not just looking to shoot people and lock people up. Here's a guy who really came into this job wanting to help and experienced a bunch of fucking chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos. There's no other better word for it. It's the biggest shit show you'll see is going to an urban environment and being thrust in that because it's not just, as I was saying, it's not just a street. It's internal as well. The whole thing is a big clusterfuck of mismanagement. And no one's caring about what we actually need to do. We need to end the damn drug war. This is ridiculous that we're doing this.
So that's most of what you're arresting people for?
Oh, gosh. I don't...
Was it all of it?
90%?
Jesus fucking Christ. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? 90%.
That's all that matters there is guns and drugs. Guns and drugs. Guns and drugs. Guns and drugs.
And guns probably are there so they could sell drugs and defend themselves.
And defend themselves, right.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. What a crazy, crazy situation. Just a bizarre police state set up by the fact that drugs are illegal. Man.
It does. I mean, it invades the entire thing. So when we saw what happened with alcohol, right? Mm-hmm. So gangs take over and you have violence. Do you want to lower the violence? Isn't that the mission of the police? Do you want to lower the violence? Then every single chief out there needs to be saying, hey, we need to end this drug war. Stop it.
Yeah. How many cops are saying that we need to stop bars? How about none? Right. Never heard a single bar,
Man, that's what causes all the fighting.
Yeah.
We all know that if they were all
Yeah.
sitting around smoking, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, but also I support their right to get fucked up if they want. You know, I've been drunk a lot, and I've never hurt anybody. Never did anything fucked up. Never caused any crimes. Never hurt anybody. Never. You know, I just don't think that I think human beings should be able to do whatever the fuck they want.